Stage 2, tour of Watopia, new camera angle. I put it over on the bar stool, kind of as close as I could get, because previously I'd been like wedging it in the aero bars, so it was shaky, obviously, as the bike's pedaling. And so this seems nice. You can barely see the watts over there, but whatever. And I can't see the time, so. But those of you who are actually taking the time to watch this probably know the route, so you can figure out what's happening. Rocking here in the front group. I think we had 500, 560 ended up. Oh, I lost that group. There they go. I was trying. Oh, trying. Can't get them. They're gone. So I'm in 30th. I'm like, all right, 30th. That's not so bad. And then, oh, those people 10, bam, wow. We're like, I'm just now 40th. We're climbing to the Titans Grove. Climb. Not pushing crazy numbers, but hard enough. 4.6, 4.7. These guys around us, everyone's just charging. Like, oh my god, not even a moment rest. 40th, climbing to the, I think we're, yeah, there's the top there. 46, 50th. I'm like, okay, 50, 40. I'm floating around in this ballpark. But to run a proper race, you kind of want to, like, a negative split be preferable, you know, going faster as you progress. But these races are hard. Oh, I'm 35th now, so there's these groups of 10 kind of floating around. And I mean, it's hard, whatever. This is when you start making excuses, like, what did I do this week? What happened? Why am I tired? Like, oh wait, I'm going super hard. I should be tired. So I'm feeling half decent. I'm like 30th, 40th, so I'm like, alright, if I could pull in a 30th out of this whole thing, that's assuming I can stay with this group. As we're flying through Titans Grove, we did the whole thing, and like, I easy rode it the other day in like 30 minutes. We did that in like 16 or something. Sticking with this group to the climb, boom, here's the real climb starts. And now this is just when all the horsepower. So I'm 37th at the start of the climb. You know, you want to be optimistic. Okay, 40, 40, I can keep 40, keep 40. You see the numbers, my numbers, I'm just slowly, look at the numbers on the side there. I'm pretty much slower than everyone. Look at those, all those fours. Everyone's pretty much 4 and up. And I'm barely, you know, you can see on the left the watts. I try to, if I'm hitting 300 generally, you know, an hour-long race, that's like already, that's bad. I try to keep it over 300, and I'm struggling to keep 300. And we're, I don't know, 22, 25 minutes into this thing now. This is when you start the excuses. Oh, 47th dropping back, and on the map up there you can't see. There's a whole string of people just right behind me waiting to. So if I stopped pedaling for 30 seconds, I would lose 50 spots. So fragile ego, which shouldn't. I mean, it's sitting there whipping in my head like, well, bam, keep going. What's your problem? 50th. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, this is actually what I told myself, 50th. I can do 50th overall. Like, that'd be good. And I started to see a trend. This is kind of my overall tactic on the race, was knowing that, you know, the climb's going to be a struggle. Sure enough, when I go to Zwift Power afterwards, I'm 88.5 kg. 2 dudes in front of me were like, one was like 89. But I'm always the heaviest, as it turns out, on all these things. So now I'm in 60th. So 50th, there they go, group of 10 gone, charging away. And this is what I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm like, I had a hard ski run yesterday, but then I'm thinking about my daughter who's in the next room who had just got diagnosed with COVID. So she's kind of on quarantine as I'm huffing and puffing. I really was just thinking this first time. I'm like, oh, but I did get the vaccine 2 weeks ago, so maybe I'm tired from the vaccine. Maybe I'm tired because I'm huffing and puffing in COVID right now, but she is in the other room. But I decided I couldn't let the fear of a global pandemic come in the way of a top 50th placing in an internet bike race. 65th, sad times, survival. And I'd honestly, this whole section, I was like, I could just quit. I could stop. No one knows I'm even doing this. I don't have to film this. Why am I filming this? Why am I doing this? These are all the questions. But I just get to the top. I'm barely sitting at 300, and 320 was like a juicer. I mean, it felt like effort. And then, of course, we're doing the main climb, 68th. And then we're doing the bonus climb, which is the real butt kicker. And if you're wondering, this is running at 8 times speed. So it's kind of cool because it's stable now. I need to learn how to pull the actual video file off of Apple TV. That would be smart. And I'm just hanging on, survival biking now, getting to the top. Because I know, so here, back to my previous tactic, being heavier. Look, I'm 70th to this. I know that if I can get to the top, I can naturally coast and rest, and I could probably catch a bunch of people, which is what I'm really hoping for. Because it's quite noticeable on Zwift, being a heavier rider on the flats, keeping the draft, and also on the downhills. Like, these guys will be pedaling hard downhill, and I'm literally doing nothing, and I'll just draft right up to them and push on by easily. So there's the radio tower top. We're pushing 2,500 feet of climbing here. I think it was 40 minutes to the top. Too bad you can't see the clock up there. But I knew that I wanted to at least stay with the group, so I'm giving a couple little kicks for, you know, barely breaking 4. I'm like mid-3s this whole time. And this little group, I could see this. I was like, I gotta catch these guys for the downhill. So I charged it, pushed to the top, boom, got in the group. So at least drafting, I'll have a little bit of help. And look, I just pulled away from those guys. Boom. Fat ass downhill. This guy in front of me, he's pedaling. I'm doing nothing. Look, he's doing like 3.5, and I'm literally doing nothing. I'm resting. 55th place, though. Look at that. I think that was that last group at the top, so I'm like, wow, 50th. I'm like, okay. So in my head, just rest on the downhill, get to the flats, catch a group, charge to 50th, whatever. And at this point in the race, I'm thinking we're coming back through the flats, through downtown, and I think the finish is downtown somewhere. But I'm looking at the mileage, I'm like, wow, there's like 6 miles left. So I got in with this group in the flats. I'm like, 6 miles, where could we be going? Like, I was like, shoot, we're probably actually going back into Titans Grove. And I start to realize this as I'm watching the mileage tick down. I'm like, oh God, and I'm dead. You know, I'm hoping for an oceanfront finish here at this point being done. And so no, as we're trying, just keeping, we're working together with this little group, and everyone knows we still got this climb coming. So we can't really be a hero. 53rd. And in my head, I'm like 50th. Like 50th out of 522 would be alright. So I had to be at least 52nd if I wanted to be breaking 10%, top 10%. Look, here comes the right-hand turn. Like, oh, dang it. Yep, we're going back uphill. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe we're going to the desert. Maybe it's a flat finish in the desert. That'd be nice. But, alas, it wasn't. So we've got 3 miles left, charging uphill, and I'm like, just stay with these people. Like, everyone was not, you know, we weren't going too hard. Little pops on the climbs, but everyone also, you know, everyone's tired. They're trying to pull away, and this is when everyone starts pushing the little, because you're watching the mileage. We're like 1.5 miles, and, you know, deep in the pain cave. And I'm right at 50, so the front of this group is 50th, basically. And I'm like, oh my God, so this is, you know, kind of just staying on track with my game plan, I suppose. I was kind of surprised it came out to that. So I'm like, stay strong. The top's coming in hot here. We're almost there. This guy, one of these guys pulls away. You're making little pulls, like testing, and that's the guy pulled away, like, oh. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, watch my watts on the side. Trying to keep it over 4. Oh, we're slowed down to regular speed. 4.2. That dude's behind me, and everyone's chomping. Like, you can see the banner. You can almost see the finish banner right up there. Right around this turn, you can see it, and you're like, oh my God. So tired. I don't have a heart rate monitor, but, oh, there's the finish right there. That dude pulled away, and he's just gone. I'm 3.9, he's 7.2. Dude behind me is doing 5.2, 5.5. And I gotta gas it. I'm at 51st, like, not 50th, I guess. 5.6, this dude's coming up behind. He's going hard, mullet, T-mullet. Boom, but I think I got him, 51st. Wow. That was brutal. Horrible. Oh my God.
Only real guests pay for their testimonial.
Oh my God.
Get ready for Jimmy Dean morning combos. The biggest little meal of the day. We took pancakes and sausage and made them bite-sized, so you can eat